Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Zach here, and been running behind a little bit lately with some of the videos. Just a lot going on, trying to balance all this stuff out. But going to have a lot of releases coming out on the channel coming up, a lot of different topics. This video is going to be a review, basically, of the booth I set up for the grip show at the Brookville Community Picnic this year. Then I'm going to get into, some of these next releases coming up are going to be my time in Louisville, Kentucky, working the Arm Assassin Strength Shot booth at Home Gym Con with Luke Raymond. And then I got some other training videos and tutorials coming out based around inch dumbbell lifting. So be on the lookout for all that. I'm probably going to get a lot of these done, I would say, this week, next week. So probably 4 or 5 uploads coming your way real soon, this being the first. So just stay tuned. And so I've helped numerous booths. I've done different competitions, whether it be with Stanowitz strength equipment at the Arnold and kind of, doing some tricks and doing some different feats of strength there, lifting. Home Gym Con the last couple years has been a fun time. Just anytime there's an expo or something set up like that, or there's an event where there's something strength training or something competitive going on, it's always fun to kind of meet new people, train around, and see what all's going on. So we had at the end of July, so a few weeks back, had the 2026 Brookville Community Picnic in Brookville, Ohio. And I, set up a booth, had some help from some friends, getting that stuff organized, basically had a lifting platform set up. I wasn't selling any merchandise at that. I did sell some merchandise at Home Gym Con. Maybe next year I'll probably have some stuff for people to actually buy, different merchandise, doing the picnic. Another thing I'd like to kind of change about the booth I had set up at the picnic, if I do it next year, I'll probably have merchandise for sale, and I'll probably end up doing some slightly different challenges and gearing some more stuff towards, the teens or younger age groups, because with that kind of being a festival type environment, there's a lot more of that going on, and some of the lifts I had there were kind of scaled a little bit higher for adults. So that's just some stuff that might be changing, should I set up a booth the next year. And I plan to, but you never know. So for now, just want to kind of break it down. So this was a 3-day event at the end of July. So I set up everything Thursday morning, got to lift about 4 or 5 hours Thursday night. Was interesting. So some of the stuff I brought out there, different increments of Thomas inch dumbbells, a couple different blobs, different increments of just single hand plate pinching, had some sledgehammers for levering, had my 176 pound anvil there. Just kind of doing demo lifts. Nobody else lifted it, but I picked it up probably 20 or 30 times throughout the weekend for people, just showing them that I could do it, or they didn't believe it, or whatever, just kind of entertaining a little bit there. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, started 3 days. So that first day, honestly, I think I came in a little bit too hot from a lifting perspective because I've just been recovering for a few days. So I was eager to lift, got into lifting. Next thing I know, I'm pretty beat up after Thursday night. I'm getting a slow start Friday because, I had to drag all these weights there to set up too. So I'm lifting these weights into the truck, unloading it from the truck, dollying it or wheeling it out and dragging it around the platform that I had set up. So I had a couple stall mats set up with some plywood under it. So we had a good platform, some banners, some things set up, little canopy type deal. So it was a good time, and it wasn't really hot. I know last year when I did this, I didn't work, but I visited the picnic. So I wasn't actually doing a booth, but it was like 20 degrees hotter. It was way worse. So this year the temperature drop was really cool. That helped out a lot and made it a little more tolerable to be out in the sun for 9-10 hours on those, the Friday and Saturday days of the picnic. So yeah, 3 days. But yeah, I started on Friday morning, the second day, thinking, man, I'm not going to lift anything for a couple hours. This should be some fun. Just kind of slowly, I think I was drinking an energy drink or coffee in the morning. I'm like, I'll warm up here in a bit, but I got like an hour or two. It's going to be a long day. Got to pace myself. And had some younger kids, don't know how old they were, but some younger boys rolled up, started wanting to touch all the weights, mess with them and stuff like first thing in the morning. I'm still stiff and sore because I hadn't trained in a couple days, and I was kind of recovering for this, knowing I was going to be doing multiple days in a row, and ended up talking myself into a corner with some of these young kids because they're coming around like hey, can you lift this? Can you lift that? You can't lift that. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can lift everything here. This is my booth. This is all my stuff. Of course I could lift it, you know. But when you tell that to somebody that's younger, um, you know, then the whole idea of like, oh, I did this 5 hours last night. Hey, could I warm up? That they're not really understanding or wanting to hear all that anyway. So um, I talked myself into that corner, basically saying, yeah, it's all my stuff. I can pick up everything over here. Cold, tired, achy from the day before, and they're all like, show us. You know what I mean? Show us. So, okay, now I got to lift all this heavy stuff at like 10 a.m. or something, you know? So that, then after I kind of hit that first blast, I was, you know, bending 60D nails, lifting the inch dumbbell, picking up 176-pound anvil, picking up Fat Man Blob if I had to, plate pinching, whatever was at the booth, I'm demoing basically. So after that group came through a little earlier than I anticipated, I was like, okay, we got to do this like 9 more hours. Let's pace ourselves a little bit and, you know, whatever. So it worked out fine. I'm kind of joking, but yeah, I wasn't ready to lift that heavy that early that morning, but clearly it worked out. I just wasn't expecting it. So that was kind of a funny one that I enjoyed and learned from. But yeah, I also had a 2.5-inch crusher, which is just a heavy rolling handle. Clip it to a loading pin. And I had different pins set up. So I had a women's pin and a men's pin, and that was the hold for time. So I was handing out cash prizes if anybody could pull off the bigger lifts for the classic feats of strength. But then I also had 2 loading pins set at different weights, 110 pounds for the men, like around 60 pounds for the women. And I just had a hold for time. That way we didn't have to change the weight stack. We didn't have to do anything like that. We were just running a hold for time challenge on a 2.5-inch crusher. And went pretty well. So over the course of the 3 days, I would just keep a running leaderboard on the whiteboard there. And at the end, the winning male and female lifter who had the highest times got $100 cash. So that was a guaranteed payout. I did offer some extra cash if people could do some of the other stuff, but those are world-class feats of strength that I had set up. So it's not something that you generally don't train for, go to a picnic, walk around, and then can just pass by cold and pick up. So if anybody picked it up, I had no problem handing over the cash if they were at that level. Basically, you'd have to be at like a world-class level or elite grip strength level just passing by. But I had different increments there. I told them they could warm up as much as they want, had chalk on site, all that stuff for lifting. So I gave everybody the best chance they could to either give a shot at these things, or I could kind of coach them up and try to get them to where they could pull off a better lift if I thought they were in reach of it. But yeah, the inch dumbbell, Fat Man Blob, and pinching 45 single hand were the things I was going to give payouts for, and none of those came up, so I was safe there. Did have a couple people lift up my 143-pound Thomas inch dumbbell, my red bell. I don't know if you can see it back here, but it is back there. But yeah, and that's no easy bell either. So I was impressed with the people that came through and picked that up. Another cool moment was I had a kid. Now I say kid, he's probably 18, 19, but he came through, and when I was bending the 60D nails, he wanted to try it. And not the best technique. Obviously, he's not a steel bender. It's not something that he's really worked on, but he actually reverse bent a 60D nail. I joked with him. I told him that he at least had like a pro wrap job because I was using my wraps to wrap up the 60D nail for him. Had he had to wrap his own nail, I don't think he could have been it. I don't know. But the tighter those wraps are definitely helps. So there is a little technique involved sometimes, but usually what I was doing throughout the whole picnic anyway was wrapping it the way I was going to bend it. And then I would hand it to other people first to give them a chance to try it. So everybody that tried to bend the nail got the professional wrap job. This was the only person I had that actually, off their body, not touching their body with it, just off body, reverse bent a 60D and then smashed it down. And did it a couple times. So I forget his name. I'll pop the picture up in here, but yeah, he bent a couple nails, and I was pretty impressed with that. So other than that, it was a good time just to get to meet new people. I ran into people that I hadn't seen in 15, 20 years. I ran into people that, when I used to play sports or something, they would be like the manager or water boy on the team, and now they got full families and stuff. So it was an interesting time being back in town and kind of catching up with some of the people. Ran into some of my old coaches. Like I said, I had some friends set up. I had some friends that stopped by the booth and helped me out. So Had Hunter D, who's a grip sport athlete. Hunter brought some of his stuff, and he popped by for a day. I had my friend Scott Belden there. Justin Stoner helped me with a lot of the loading and staging and getting the canopy set up. So I have to thank all my friends that kind of helped a little extra. But then, from everybody else that stopped by, man, it was just a really good time. And just getting to talk to people, introduce them to stuff, help them out with stuff, and just kind of create a fun, competitive environment at a festival type deal. It was a lot of fun because even if people didn't have a chance at the $100 cash to hold it longer by time, you were getting father and son combos. You were getting the girlfriend, peer pressuring her boyfriend to go try it and, whatever, or the kids pressuring their dad to go, Dad, you're strong, get in there. So it was interesting to see that it wasn't always about just winning the money or doing the biggest stuff. There was a lot of interest in just groups of people where they might say, hey, he held it for 5 seconds, I'm going to hold it for 6. They didn't even care about winning the money or being competitive with the best people there for 3 days. They were just, kind of getting bragging rights within their own groups. So that was awesome to see as well. So like I said, next year, I think I'm going to bring some different challenges, and I'll be a little bit more efficient with how I set all that up. I'll have a broader stretch for different age groups, assuming I'm, going to be back at the picnic. I'm going to try to maximize it the best I can and have some stuff for sale, but also kind of just have just more efficient. I brought a lot of stuff out the gate this time just to see what kind of stuck, what worked, what needed to be changed. And I think I got most of the feedback and most of that experience kind of mapped out for next time. So, if you stopped by the booth, if you were another vendor there that, chatted with me or helped out or just anything, I had a great time hanging out with everybody for 3 days. They always close out the community picnic with a big set of fireworks. So the fireworks were cool. I actually snapped a couple shots of the tent that was still set up. A lot of vendors around me had already broke down. I was tired of lifting for 3 days straight and doing crazy stuff. So I kind of hung out and just watched the fireworks, snapped a few pictures of the fireworks with the booth still set up. And then I ended up breaking down that night and, picking the stuff up the next morning. But no, I think it was a big success. It was a lot of fun for me. Some people got some cash prizes. It was nothing to try. So it was free for everyone who came by to try whatever they want, do as many of the challenges, learn as much as they wanted, talk to me about random stuff, strength training, whatever it may be. So yeah, free to try. So that's the big thing I think that drew a lot of people in was, it's free to try. You don't have to pay, but there is a chance that you win something. You know what I mean? And hey, I'm giving payouts and rewarding strength if you're at that level. So I think next year cover more age ranges, change some of the feats that I think will be better or different challenges. There'll be some new ones, might do something similar to this year, but definitely going to upgrade it and make it a little bit more fun and kind of improve for the next one. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the pictures. Hopefully this little review does the 3 days justice. I would like to have more B-roll. I'd like to have more stuff going on, but I'm a one-man show basically. So with me doing this, I not only barely left the booth to eat or use the bathroom, I was lifting all the time and I didn't have time to get around and maybe take as many videos as I would have liked, but I do have a ton of pictures when I could, get my phone out and snap a few. So hopefully you enjoyed the pictures. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the background details. And then, just stay tuned for a breakdown of the home gym convention in Louisville, Kentucky. This is my second year being there, but the first time kind of running my own section in conjunction with Arm Assassin Strength Shop. So I was down there helping Luke Raymond with his stuff. So in the next video, you'll get to check some of that out if you tune in. So be on the lookout for that. And then once I get these recaps covered for just reviewing these booths I set up and helped with, I'm going to be getting back into lifting technique and tackling some of the biggest feats of strength myself as a lifter, but also coaching more tips. I don't mean coaching, programming, getting ready for competitions. I'm not diving into that yet, but I could do it any minute. I just don't want to deal with it right now. I'm already behind. But yeah, I do want to get back into explaining some of these feats of strength and explain at least how I do it, whether it's right, wrong, or whatever. I want to break down how I train, how I do things, what my favorite exercises are, how I lift the Thomas Inch dumbbell and stuff like that. So I'm not saying it's a one size fits all. I'm going to be giving different options and different technique videos, but that's going to be focused around, probably lifting the Thomas Inch dumbbell and just basic technique for it. But then I'm also going to have a second video accompanying that with, kind of putting in some of my favorite exercises or some of my favorite ways to train dumbbells. So if you made it that far in this video, just stay tuned for the next couple and keep an eye out. I'm going to be catching up on all these reviews, catching up and putting out new content as far as training and technique goes, and just diving into some of these different weights and different methods of training. So appreciate you guys for stopping by the booth. If anybody came by and lifted, if anybody, I don't know, spread the word, told a friend, brought somebody by. Had a great time catching up with people I already knew, had a great time meeting new people and different vendors, and hope to see you guys next year. But stay tuned for the other videos coming out soon. Thanks.